Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be ranking the last 10 Bradford City away shirts. Let me know your top 10 and if you agree or disagree in the comments down below. It'd be much appreciated as well if you could like this video and subscribe. Let's get into it. So 6 days ago on last Tuesday I believe it was, Bradford City released this shirt. Let me know your thoughts on the shirt in the comments down below. Do you like the shirt? Do you hate the shirt? Or is it just an okay shirt and it's not worth the £55 that was paid for it? Let me know your thoughts on that as well. Obviously football shirts and the football business in itself is increasing in price value, but I thought I'd rank the shirts. Obviously last season I did the home shirt ranking. If you haven't seen that, you can go and watch it again if you want. Let me know if you want to see that again. Maybe some thoughts have changed on the previous home shirts that I did of the previous 10, and where does the current home shirt as well rank in those last 10. But that's what we're doing today with the away shirt. How does the new one, the 23-24 away shirt, compare with the previous 9 away shirts that followed it? So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on this. But we are going to start off with the 2014-15 away shirt. It's just plain white. It's tough to really gather where to put it. At the minute I'm going to put it in average, poor sorry. It could go in average or poor because it's just that sort of basic shirt. Now some might like basic, but for me, basic goes in its own sort of category. I'm putting it in poor at the moment because I do think that poor sort of, you can do better. And and one thing I'm going to do is, apart from the top tier where it's just going to be one shirt because it's the best shirt, it's got to be two in each tier at least, because obviously there will be one that has to have 3 in that tier. So it's definitely interesting, but it is poor, the shirt, because I think we could do so much better in creating a shirt like that. Same with the following away shirt, the 2015-16 away shirt. That's just pure black again. The only difference is the sponsor, the JCT 600 or Claret. In this one it is just plain white. It's not a bad shirt. It's just that it's just a poor design because we haven't done too much to design that. Both of them were Nike. We then followed with Avec, and most of the Avec shirts was okay. If I had to rank how Avec came compared to Nike, I think they were probably better than Nike. I think Nike produced some average, if not poor shirts, quite like these two, the previous two away shirts I've already discussed. But this one, I think it's got to be at least solid. I love the diagonal stripe. I like it being white. I do quite like white and claret and amber, but I like white and claret and amber if the claret and amber isn't in your face. I think in the home shirt that we've done at the minute, it is a bit too in your face because there's all claret and amber and then the white, which don't really complement it too much. But with it being an anniversary shirt, you can sort of accept it. But white with not a lot of claret and amber makes it stand out on its own. The claret and amber, it does the talking for it. And I do like that shirt, and I do like all 3 of those shirts from the 2016-17. They've all got diagonal stripes, and I like the shirts that do have a pattern for the rest of the season. All 3. And the white one again, it's a good shirt. Moving then on to the 2017-18 shirt. It's sort of the Barcelona type shirt that we did. That's going in average. I wasn't keen on these shirts. I think we did another one which will be discussed later on, and we did one around 2002. I think we had it for 2 consecutive seasons in the early 2000s. I'm not too keen on the colouring. Obviously with being like claret and a dark blue, I'm not keen on those colours. But with that shirt, I put it in average, and probably top end of average because it is quite a good one. And again, like I talked about in the last shirt, it follows on from the season. The home shirt was claret and amber in that same stripe pattern, and that one, it's sort of like the Barcelona type shirt. I think a lot called it that. But it's a tidy shirt. It's not bad, but it ain't good in my opinion. Moving on then into the relegation season, the 2018-19 season, we had a third shirt with a pure black with grey sleeves, and then obviously the home shirt in that season was discussed as probably one of the worst shirts ever for Bradford City. And obviously the weird thing with football shirts is you remember them off the season. There might be a poor shirt that you talked about at the start of the season which you didn't like, and then at the end of the season you thought it was a good shirt because we did well in it. But this one, for the blue one, for me, I didn't like it. I don't like it. I'm not keen on blue for City, but when it's the darker blue, I think we did a couple in the 90s that are quite good retro shirts. But the light blue, I'm not keen on it. It doesn't have anything to do with City, and this one, again, it's quite basic with a blue. If you could have involved Bradford City in that, Clout number in that, sorry, somewhere, I think it probably gets up a bit, but for me, it doesn't resemble Bradford City in any way, and it's quite basic as it is anyway. Then moving on into the first season in League Two, we've spent many seasons in League Two following this one. We were hoping that, you know, we'd get straight out of League Two and it'd be quite straightforward. With the signs we brought in, we were quite optimistic, like we are every season. But the shirt instead of the season, because obviously it was a poor one, which we ended up getting Gary Bowyer sacked, and then Stuart McCall came in. Then we had COVID, of course. But I like the shirt. Obviously it's white with a Clout number down the middle, and then it sort of fades away. I do really like this shirt, and you'll probably see a theme with white and Clout number, but it's going in the solid good category at the moment, along with the other white and Clout number shirt. Moving on into the next season, we did go again for the sort of Barcelona shirt type feel with it, with the navy blue and the Clout, but this time I think we've got it completely wrong. I'm not a big fan of it. I'd put it in the poor category at the moment because it's a poor shirt. I think it's not far away from being a good shirt. It would have been interesting if it were all navy all the way down instead of navy halfway and then the Clout and the blue stripes halfway down it. Or it would have been interesting if we kept along with the Clout number stripes. For me, it's sort of like it's two shirts in one, and that makes it go down from maybe an average shirt if it were one or the other. Because like I say, I'm not a big fan of those type of kits, but if you're going to go with one, you know, stick with that sort of design, don't go half and half, because I'm not a big fan of that. It looks like two shirts in one, so that's why it's in poor. Could be in how much, because I really don't like the shirt, but there's two worse than that in my opinion. And one of those is this following shirt from the next season, one of Derek Adams' shirts as well. It's the Clout number, which, you know, I like Clout number in any shirt, but this shirt is particularly poor. I would have liked to, again, similar to the previous shirt, if it was, you know, all Clout on one side and Dorlamber on the other, but instead you've got both Clout sleeves, which, you know, it just looks a bit odd when you've got, you know, all Clout on that side and Dorlamber on that side. You'd think you'd have maybe an amber sleeve, or maybe that's just me, maybe it does look better like that, and maybe you like these shirts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But for me, this shirt is just a very odd shirt. And the thing that highlights it for me is the stupid Clout stripe halfway down it, you know, across on the amber side. Sorry if I'm not making much sense, but I just don't like it. It's just a very odd shirt, and I'd like us to stick with. It would have been more interesting if we went Clout and amber on one side, and I think Crystal Palace went for that this season. It doesn't look too bad of a shirt, although it's getting a lot of complaints, so it suggests that that design ain't good enough either. But for me, it's in the how much category, because certainly wouldn't be buying any of those shirts. But then moving on into last season's shirt, the 22-23 away shirt, that's going in average. Now, I'm not too keen on the shirt. I think it's an average shirt. It's black and white stripe. You know, if it's a Newcastle shirt, it's a bit different for them, but for us, it's something different. It's a different away shirt. If it had Clout number on the collar and maybe on the sleeves, that would have been a bit more of intrigue to me, and maybe it would have made it a better shirt. It's certainly not a bad one, but for me it doesn't resemble Bradford City in any way, and it's just an okay shirt, and it was definitely the worst shirt from last season. But like I say, it's not as bad as others on his list, but probably it does suggest that we've had a lot of bad away shirts in the last few seasons. Moving on into this shirt, what are my thoughts on this one? Well, there's only one category left. Maybe I'm being a bit reactionary to just, you know, pretty much just buying the shirt and just seeing it, but I do think it's a really nice shirt and it's smart. You know, the two close, you know, shirts that came close with it was the 2019-20 shirt and the 2016-17 shirt. Sorry, those two came close. I think you could put any in that category for me, but I've gone with this one, probably pure, you know, just recency bias to be honest. But it is nice. It's nice and smart. They've got the white in, but they've got the Clout number in. You know, the sponsor, the Macron, and the Bradford City badge are all Clout. I think that's something to do with the anniversary on the collar. You've got the anniversary on it as well, the 120 years of Clout number. It's a really nice smart shirt, and you can wear it casually as long as you don't get it too mucky. So for me, it's the best shirt. Let me know your thoughts on this new shirt in the comments down below. Have we got it right? Is it too bland for you? What are your thoughts on the home shirt? Should I do a very similar video but for home shirts of the last 10 years if my opinion changed from last season on many, and where does the new home shirt compare to the previous 9 that followed that? I could do third shirts, but we haven't done many in the last 10 years because really they've only come around for Bradford City in recent years, because you only really had a home and an away shirt until recent, where it came a lot about money and trying to get as many shirts out as you can. So let me know your thoughts on my tier list in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, and subscribe if you're new. Have a good one.